Worthy by design. Networking provides a space for building upon your weaknesses and building connections to advance your work, says Kelta Giwa. Hello, thanks for joining us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I'm Iberi Chims. Welcome. We started off a conversation on networking during our last episode, and we still have in the studio Mrs. Kelta Giwa. She's a development practitioner. It's good to have you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
She has been amazing. When I mean amazing. Now we're going to continue with the conversation on networking.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the networking myths, that women have to deal with.
For me, I think first of all is your understanding about that space. A lot of people view that networking space as a space to get a job, a place to get financial support to maybe expand or boost your business. Some people do not have a good understanding, and so they kind of have some kind of mindset, and when they get there, it sounds very disappointing. Some also feel that, for instance, if you are an employee in an organization, you think that when you are in a network, your employer feels bad that you're in that space. But from the definition we are getting, you've seen that networking is beyond just getting what you want instantly. Some people believe it's a place to get what they want instantly. I've seen in the network people are posting their CVs. In a space where people are having discussions, treating topics, people are having their CVs. I see on Instagram sometimes some of our celebrities post things, and then people will tell you, "Yo, they are into this. Come and promote my music. Come and promote my this one. So people don't really understand what the space is. So it's not as if you get into that space, it's automatic, you get what you want. It's a myth. It's not true. It's about, first of all, building connection. People must also know you and reckon with you. You can't come into a space and expect people to give you a job. They must know who you are, who you stand for. You want to get financial support, you're looking for somebody within the network to stand as your surety or guarantor. We don't know you. How do we stand out for you?
So build a relationship
So
first.
For me, it's important to build that relationship. Let them know you. Be very honest and sincere with yourself. I think you will get the needed support in that space if you're very sincere. Again, a lot of people feel if I get in there, I might not get listened to. Some people feel it's not a space I should go and open up. But trust me, there are people who have gone to those spaces, opened up, and they've been better off than they were before. You know how political activities are in the night. And here I am, I'm a member of the party structure. I need to go, and meetings happens at night. So, she has started following, a lot of things that they, instead of understanding that is how that space operates or functions. And so you begin to see it as a space where she's loose, she's going to start following men, she's going to be spoiled, she's going to learn bad things. Some people see networking as that. I've known a lot of, there's this group online, female in Nigeria. I belong to it, and a lady was sharing that most times in the evening when she's done with her household chores, she's on that platform trying to read people's story. That one day the husband was like, what is she always doing on that platform? And was going to seize her phone and all that. This woman was like, hey, she likes reading through people's experiences, people's sharing and everything. And so if he seizes her phone, what's going to happen? So one day she carried the phone and gave him and said, my dear, can you also read through? He said he wants to be part of that forum because he felt he was learning from the stories other people were sharing. So at first, it's a space where different women come to share their problems, they cry out, they get encouraged, they get support. they get linkage, and then here is the man, his wife was on that platform trying to read through, and so he felt she was giving more attention, that she was going to, learn terrible things. But the day he had an opportunity to read through just a few, and his mindset changed. So that's why I said it's about the conception of what people understand the networking space for. Some see it as a space to get what they want instantly. It doesn't happen like that. It is a place to build connection. You know people. You are exposed to people. And in the exposure to people, when you're also exposed, some will also look at it, you are beginning to get connected with. Some even see you as you are, because you are in a space where, for instance, the CBN governor belongs to. Everybody thinks there's an automatic ticket for you to get job in CB. Hook me up now. Hook me up. It's not like that. So these are some of the myths that I can recall that, about networking, that people feel that when they get there, they get all their problems solved immediately. It's a build-up.
You had mentioned earlier that networking is not about you getting your problem solved. It could also be about you solving the problem of others.
Somebody, exactly.
So you shouldn't be going there trying to get, 1, 2, 3 connections and all your problems.
You could
solved.
also be a support, a help for somebody there. Because an opportunity for people to come and share, and you find that, just like with the side question we had, the lady who was like she wants to give up about her business. I'm sure by the time she gets into 1 or 2 networking opportunities, like I tell you, she will now realize that she's a star. Like I said, there's a level of success she has attained that she does not know. And she's not counting it as success. You understand? So in those kind of spaces, she will find that she's also like a support. People will come and say, oh, you have even gone this far. How did you start? And that's when she realizes, oh, okay, so I've even gone a step. Yeah. So it's quite...
So I'm wondering, looking at all that you have said, right? Networking is so important.
Very, very.
So why do we have very few women in these networking spaces? Why then do we have... Is it that they don't know about it, or they don't know the benefits? Or what really is the problem? Why are we not leveraging on it?
Okay, so first is a lot of people do not know. Yeah. Some of these spaces exist online, and like we said, there's that digital divide. Not many women have access. I tell you, till today, a lot of women are still there. They will tell you, just buy me a phone that I'll be using to answer and receive call. But you know that phone has gone beyond just answer and receive call. Some people have smartphones, but they don't know what to do with it. They're just there and all that. People who have leveraged on this technology have moved ahead. They belong to several platforms, they share things, they do a lot of things, and you see people that you have common ideas, you even meet together and begin to discuss how to promote what you're doing together and all that. So that digital divide is the first thing. And then there are some people who may not just be interested in some of the things they're doing from their background. Because again, what that social media, or let me say use of digital phones, have led to. There are a lot of people who have misconception as to what happens. Of course, the issue of cyber attack and all that. You could be in a platform and the hacker goes in, and you understand. So it puts some people off. It will put some people off, and they wouldn't want to continue again. The others is really understanding, that if I get there, it's going to be a space to be, leverage on. Let me just use that word, leverage on, to be able to advance whatever I know. If people understand the learning opportunities, and then of course within the networks, the kind of things people do there may not be of interest to everybody. That's why for you, before you get into any network, please be clear of what you want to achieve. What's your objective? What's your purpose of joining this network?
It should align with the network.
Exactly. Once it aligns, when you go in, you find yourself fitting, you find yourself learning, you find yourself contributing. But where you get into a network and you don't find yourself, you just step back. A lot of people will not be uninterested. You find some people leaving the group. And then sometimes, apart from physical social media networks, the physical ones too, some places where they operate, they are like distant from where some of the women are. So it's not every woman that has that time, the resources to be able to access those meeting spaces.
Or maybe they don't even have information about the fact
exactly.
that
That's why I said access.
Yeah.
Information. They don't have information. They don't have the time. They don't, buy into what the network is doing. They don't really see the need. You understand? Because of some of that. Because some people can be in a group, and instead of helping the group, they try to. But don't be discouraged by one of those two people. The most important thing is why you are there and how that's learning or whatever you are doing. Exactly, be propelled by the purpose.
Amazing. Yeah. I know there's a book like that. It Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. So in this networking space, when we hear men network, or we see men network more than women, right? So is it the fact that we need to start thinking like them, or we need to start acting like them so we can get more out of networking opportunities, or so we can network properly? How do we, get all of this mixed together?
Act like a lady and think like a man. In the first place, why do I have to think like a man?
Because they're the ones, it
out
looks
there,
like
the opportunities are favoring them.
Yeah.
They have,
they say it's a man's world.
Yes.
So
but then
how
I'm
do we
not a
reconcile
man.
all of this?
God did not create me a man, so I cannot think and act like him because I am wired differently. My thinking is different, and the way I will handle issues is different from the way a man will handle issues. We could have some common ground, but we don't think alike. We can think differently. So for me, men, like you said, the world, gives them room to do so many things, and so they leverage on this opportunity that they have, and work together, support each other, and all that. Women, some of us are just coming out of our shell. A lot of women are just coming out of our shell. And I will let you know that sometimes even those you find in the network spaces are still dealing with a lot of issues. They've not fully come out of their own shell. They still have baggages that they are coming with, right? So for me, what's the essence of me becoming or getting into a network? What are the men doing in the spaces that they operate and are succeeding that we too we can learn from? For me, it's not about competition. It's about learning.
Yes. Yes.
If the men are getting it right in their network spaces, as women, how do we support each other? How do we, if we want to rise above the level, how do we learn from what they are doing and support each other and be where we are? It's just like the political space. When they say a woman wants to come out for, before now, a lot of people are looking at the woman. This group has been started by women. Everybody's beginning to question, what is she trying to achieve in that group? If a man sets up a group, nobody will ask all this kind of money. Everybody will just go there first and see what is obtainable. So as women, we should also begin to think, oh, somebody has said this thing. Okay, let's go. Let's see what's there. Is it helping me to achieve my goal? Am I learning anything out of it? Is it of any benefit to me? And then as I am benefiting, how am I also helping the people to grow? It's not like you said, and it's very correct. You don't go into that network space and just be there because you want to be there and be learning. You too, you are also contributing your own quota because there are people who are learning from you. And of course, how do you make the space, very participatory kind of? Okay. Yeah. Inclusive kind of, exactly. I think that's the word. How do you make the space inclusive such that everybody who comes there sees the need? I must be part of this group. Oh, you mean you learned this thing from this group? Please, can you link me up? I want to be a member. I want to learn from it. So it should be a space that is inclusive, and we mustn't just go out there and use, approaches that are elitist kind of, because we are women and coming from different backgrounds.
Keep it simple.
So how do we accommodate each other in the space? The men may be more financially well-to-do. For those of the women who are financially well-to-do, how do you also bring in your resources to support people around you? Because one of the key factors that will make the men succeed is money, funding, finances. One of the key.
I'll hold you up there. We'll go on a very short break. When we return, there's plenty more. Do stay with us.
In terms of true worship, we must seek the Lord. We will not be able to come with all our perfections.
We will recognize as superseding every other gift. So love, in essence, is very important. Our position is who we are. Our disposition is the way we relate to who we are. So it's not about your position, it's also about your disposition.
People of God, I want to tell you that no matter who you are, no matter your position, your status,
you have encountered that superior power, the efficacious power of the blessing.
It says this God hears prayers, and then he expands the limits of whose prayer is heard.
Welcome back. We have been talking with the amazing Khelta Giwa. We've had a conversation on networking and it keeps unfolding. I can't tell you all about it. Do well to go back to the previous episode, watch this one. You will get a lot of knowledge from it. So you had said, act like a lady, think like a lady, more like leverage on your uniqueness.
Sure.
Learn whatever the men are doing that's working for them. Please learn by all means and apply it, because it could also yield similar results, right? Now let's move on. How does being a woman give you an edge in this whole networking business? I'm not talking about networking business per se.
But the
networking space, yes.
Being a woman, first of all, you know, just by that word or that classification as a woman, you know, puts you out there as a weaker vessel. But I started by sharing and naming some names of women who have excelled. And when you know that there are people like that, it should make you think that wherever you are, whatever space you are, you can also influence that space. And that's why I talked about how did they do it in their own time? How did they do it? How do they organize? How do they bring people together? What information are they passing out there? Are they doing anything to really... So I belong to a space. How am I contributing to the group that are there, that the people there see the value of being in this space? Because it's very, very important. Or else a lot of us, or a lot of women wouldn't want to identify with those spaces and just feel it's a waste of their time. So as a woman in that space, how do you make that space very, very meaningful for people?
So you
resourceful.
You need to go beyond just being a member, be offering something.
Exactly.
So people should look beyond your gender and look at your value.
Yes. Because we have something to offer. The experiences we bring in from the home front, from being workers in our environment, our work in the church spaces, wherever you find yourself, all these things contribute to something. Yeah. It is when we don't value ourselves, that is when you think that you cannot contribute anything or you are not even worth anything in the society. If you see yourself, appreciate yourself first. Value what you do. You know, recognize your contribution for me.
You know that it brings to mind a story a friend told me. She relocated to Canada and, you know, she needed to get a job, at least to keep body and mind together. So the question she was asked was, what experience do you have for this job? I can't remember what job it was. She had to tell them that she was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, 2 active kids, had to take care of them, take them to school, provide for them, ensure they were in good health on a daily basis. And she did this for a number of years. And so she feels that overqualifies her for this job. You know, when she told me that, it sounded really funny, but this is value she's putting out. She recognizes what she was doing as a stay-at-home mom as value offering on a daily basis. So as a woman, as a lady out there, look at what's around you. You know, it takes me to the story of Moses. God asked him, what do you have in your hands? What is around you? That is value.
Value, yeah.
Even if you've never had a job before and you want to break into the career world, what have you been doing in the years that you haven't been working? What value can you find out of there? That will help your networking journey. I don't know what you think about
that. No, but that's very absolutely correct. That's why I said recognizing what you are A woman first. That story, she's a teacher, nurse, home manager, driver, cook, laundry woman. Just keep naming them.
Disciplinarian.
So she manages the home. Why can't she manage people in a work environment? I've seen that thing, I think similar, maybe it's the same story or something, where somebody was, and the person went back to talk about what the person has been doing in the household. And because the society thought that for the part of the world, we think that whatever a woman is doing doesn't contribute or counts for anything. But out there, it is valued, it is paid for. And that's why, for those of us in the development sector, we are also talking and campaigning around the unpaid care work for women. Because women are doing a lot. You find a woman is at home attending to a sick person. In the hospital, somebody is doing it and getting paid. You understand? So for me, there's nothing wrong in... First of all, is don't allow yourself to think that you are not of any value to anybody. Recognize yourself. God did not create you as an empty person. There's a reason why he made a woman for Adam. He made a woman for a reason. So understand that reason. Recognize that worth in you first. Before others will recognize you. If not, if you keep seeing yourself as at the background, you're not worth anything, that's how people will see you. For me, it's very important as women. We must recognize ourselves.
We must recognize
ourselves. We are doing a lot. We're doing a lot. Nobody is praising you, praise yourself.
Shout out to all the women out there doing great things in their little corners. Wow. We're drawing to a close. I'm so enjoying this conversation. Now let's talk about, there's the issue people usually talk about pertaining to women competition. That women like to, see like you're doing better than the other woman, you're doing better than the other person, How does competition affect networking or limit networking?
It's a very serious problem, and I won't deny the fact there are people who do that. But the truth of the matter is, what are you competing for? The space was not made for you alone. If you know it all, there's nothing wrong in sharing what you know. You won't be here forever. Yeah? You might have been the brain behind the network, but whatever you know, don't stand and use it as a competition against anybody. Carry people along, because you would deny people growth. People will learn from you. And sometimes when you look back and see the people that you have held their hand to move along the ladder, I mean, that alone is satisfying.
True.
So competition is not healthy. It limits you and may even deny you further opportunities for some things, because when it comes to recommendation, and I give you an example, you could sit in your little corner and they say they're looking for somebody that has experience or expertise in this. And I know that you're a very competitive kind of person. I will not even recommend you.
Because you won't give other people an opportunity.
So it denies you the opportunity to grow. You also deny others the opportunity to grow. You keep things to yourself and affect institutional memory. I mean, if today the work of the likes of Mahatma Gandhi was not documented for us to read as part of history today, the works of Chinua Achebe, a lot of them who are no more, we are reading their stories, we are learning from them. If everything had ended in their heads, it's them. They know it and they don't want to share. For me, there will be no legacy to, and nobody will remember their name. So I think for me is to look back and see how wherever your feet treads upon, as you leave an indelible mark that somebody will step into it and remember it. Apologies, I'm going to digress a bit. Today, people's Fela songs are making meaning to us today. Why? He was singing his song then. He was just singing his song then. But today we are reckoning them. If he had kept the ideas in his head and never brought them out in form, today some of the things we are seeing, we would just, and I bet you people are also documenting what is happening now and will still refer to him. There's a work we're trying to do and we're talking about the importance of history. So if your name is not part of history, what mark have you made? So competition is not healthy and will affect a lot of things negatively. It will affect you, brings rivalry in the group, negativity. You understand? People, and then you also create like factions. Those who are in support of you, and division as a whole. It affects the whole network. So there are several implications. If we allow competition to sort of thrive in any space where we are. The best bet is don't see yourself as a competitor. You are not the only one God has blessed with the knowledge. God has said He can also raise stones to do what He wants to be done. So if you feel you know it all and you don't want you feel another person coming is going to take your space, God can use anybody, and that knowledge that you have, He can take it away from you. The space is not about you alone. The world is not about you alone. If not, God wouldn't have created us all. So that space is for everybody to come and contribute His own quota. If you know it, share. If you don't know, carry people along, learn from people. But don't be competitive and don't want to open up the space for others to be part of what you're doing. It doesn't even help well. When the implication affects you at the end of the day, you find yourself alone in the world.
As we draw to a close, right? How can women now make progress in a competitive world? There's no denying that the world is competitive, right? You have to be offering a little more than what another is offering for you to, you know, gain any headway. So how can women get ahead?
Yeah, in doing this, so that you can get ahead. We've talked about it in most of our discussions earlier today. In getting ahead, hold other people's hand along and move together. Where you see competition coming in, if you can find a way of making it known that this is not about competition, but all of you need to get to the goal, please state it clearly. And then that should be the bottom line of every group that you belong. Anyone who sees anything anybody is doing as competition, as far as I'm concerned, if you cannot be with us, you can just leave, let us be. See yourselves as complementing each other. For me, it's very important. All that you are doing is because you are driving towards a goal. Because today you are blessed to have had the knowledge, to have had the experiences, to have had the opportunities that somebody else does not have. It doesn't start well when you see others trying to rise like you and you feel they are competitive. God can open doors and make anybody rise above you. These fingers are not equal. God did not make us the same. Today you may be here, tomorrow another person will be minister tomorrow. Your own time, think about
Make the best of it.
the indelible mark you're going to leave. Make the best use of that opportunity that you have in that space. What influence are you making that people can reckon with, even
That
when you are no
stands you
longer
out.
there? That stands you out. That will give you a good name, like the Bible says. A good name that people will reckon with and say, oh, when this person was here, we learned this, we learned this, we learned this. And for you who has that competitive spirit, please ask God to help you. Open your eyes to see that God did not bestow only you with that knowledge, that He can also give somebody that knowledge of something that you do not know. Be willing to learn. Come down from your high horse and see every other person as a human being that God has created. You are not the only one He gave the brains. Every other person has the brains, and God can use anybody to achieve what He wants to achieve. Competition in any space is not healthy at all, because it breeds rivalry, causes problem, and will not help us to grow. So it's about putting it behind and looking ahead. But where you cannot, the people in the group can also look of how they can actually strive to walk towards the goal. You can just be there, but and then once in a while, let them look up to you, let them call upon you and give you that recognition that yes, we know you know it to come and train us. But it's not as if we're taking your space. I think that should be made clear. Let it be clear that this thing is not about who is there, who is not there. Let's all understand the reason why we are in that group, to help support each other. If you know it, help others grow so that the legacy can live and remember you in the long run.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, more like, even if the world is competitive, what you need to do personally is gain enough value that stands you out.
Exactly.
So that everybody sees that there's something different
About this person. Yeah,
and it's
sure.
this difference that we seek. Thank you so much, Ma. We have had an amazing conversation. We'll end this conversation by saying, you know, we usually hear when you go with others, you go further. Then when you walk alone, you may walk fast, but how far can you go? Who really knows? So there are indeed opportunities all around us, whether upwards, sideways, or downwards. And we all must be willing to leverage on them. Trying out new and different things helps us launch out into spheres we may never have known existed. Go out there, attend functions, trainings, social gatherings, meet and have valuable conversations that imprint your image in the minds of others. Don't just be at ease, get networking. And trust me, we'll all meet at the other side of success. Thanks to our amazing guest.
Thank you so much.
I've driven her like a machine. But trust me, she has been efficient.
Thank you so much.
You have been amazing.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for having
so
me.
much for being on the show. You have
my pleasure.
inspired all of us.
My pleasure.
Next up is our Ask Away segment. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to our Ask Away segment. Today we have a question from P, and it says, I have always had big dreams of becoming a successful businesswoman, and I believe I have done all within my power to make this my reality. However, the more I try, the more the dream seems unattainable. I have read stories of people who tried and succeeded, and I'm wondering if that could ever be my case. Because from where I stand, I don't know what I see anymore. Ma, what do you make of this? It seems like someone at a crossroad.
That's very, I don't want to use the word pathetic. I'm a bit concerned. But first question I want to ask is, what is success to her?
Okay.
What is success? Success is at different levels.
I
Success is the stages.
Okay.
And she'll be shocked that by the time she does a good analysis of where she's coming from, she will find out that she has even moved a step.
True.
So she needs to celebrate herself in that first step she has moved, and then ask, what's next for me to move? So for me is, my dear, take a glass of water, cool down, calm down. Because if you hurt yourself too much, you will give up and not continue.
True.
So do a reflection and see whether what have I not done right that I think I need to redo, or can I learn from somebody who has done it? How did the person do it? Is there something I am not doing? But for me, the person should not beat herself too hard. Life is hard on its own. So don't beat yourself too hard that you have not succeeded. If you check very well, you will find at one point or the other you have moved somewhere.
True.
Celebrate that success and sit back and look at what's the next step for me. I don't totally agree with her to say where she sits now, it's not the end. I think she needs to look out for opportunities where she can be spoken to. And like I said, deep reflecting on what she has done. Where did I get it wrong? How can I amend it, do it better, and move? Rather than sitting to conclude and draw a conclusion that from where I sit, it's no longer possible. It may look impossible, but until you try. The people she's referring to that she had, they tried. Go and hear their story. The person who developed the electric bulb, how many times did the person try and fail? But the person kept on trying. So for me, it's not to be too hard on yourself. Like I said, how do you do a reflection of where you're coming from? How far have I come? Where is the missing link? What is it that I didn't do well? Did I put money where I was not supposed to put money? Did I,
Am I networking properly?
That's another thing. What's marketing? If the issues are with marketing, what marketing options do I have? Are my prices too high? Is there anything I can add to it to make? I learned something from, I don't want to mention her name, a TV star who taught me one of her leadership courses. She said, if a woman is frying akara and you think you want to go and start frying akara, don't go and sit down and say she's frying akara, she's making it. Also think of what you can do to make that akara fry different from her own. So what business are you doing?
Carve a niche for yourself.
Exactly. How can you carve a niche for yourself such that from your reflection, you will do it better? And my dear, don't be too ashamed to ask questions. If you have opportunities to network, go for events. I have a friend who resigned from an office and went into event management. She did not have the materials. I would even be in Jos. She would call to say, please, on your way back, I need you to collect a parcel for me. Guess what was in the package that I was collecting? The cushion covers she will use to cover it. She doesn't have them in Abuja, but we'll pick it from Jos and bring it. And she will use it and get her money, return. Gradually, she was saving money on this. And today, she's a big-time event planner that right now, I think they just came back, if they are still not there, in an event in Dubai. Event managers. And I saw her there. She was there successing and looking back. That's these years. I didn't even know it. And today she's out there, and I believe she's going to meet others that she has done better than others who are far ahead of her, and she's networking. So for me, it's to identify the people who are in this same business, find out how they are doing, what is it that you're not doing well, rather than sitting down and beating yourself too hard and saying that for you it's
over.
I actually do not encourage people to say it is over. What is it that you can do differently? I think for me that should be the question. After doing a reflection and an analysis, depending on the scale of her business, I don't know, but she can also seek professional advice. And that's where networking comes in, because you don't pay much in networking spaces. But you have business schools that you pay to go and learn some things. But in networking spaces, knowledge is free. All you need to do is sit, be very honest, have honest conversations with whoever, and you must also define why you're also reaching out to somebody for an advice. So in what area? Don't think because my business is failing and the whole problem you're going to pour it on the person who you're going to talk to, but what specifically can the person help? By the time you are very straightforward and strategic, the person knows the points to guide you with. And talk to as many people as you can and see how you can do a mix of these ideas and try something different. These days, they say we are doing what? Thinking outside the box.
You've heard it all. We are thinking outside the box. It is a process, and every step you have taken so far, trust me, is driving you towards your goal. Don't throw in the towel. Trust me, all of us here, we are rooting for you. And we'll see you at the other side of success. This is all we have for you on our Ask Away segment today. Please send in your questions through our social media handles. Drop it on YouTube. We'll be happy to respond to you and to guide you in your journey to a better life. See you next time. Welcome to our Legal Tidbits segment. Last week we spoke about whether a couple could buy property together and what nomenclature would be used on the documents. Flowing from last week's tidbits, someone asked if it was okay to buy a property jointly with her fiance, boyfriend, somebody. So they can jointly build their future. Can I take that again? Right. So flowing from last week's tidbits, someone asked if it was okay to buy a property jointly with her fiance, her boyfriend, or her somebody, so they can jointly build their future. As noble as this may sound, it is clearly, someone said, it's car parked at owner's risk, because the relationship may end at any time. So to avoid a messy situation that may come with property sharing, it is advisable to rather not buy property jointly. However, if you're so in love and you choose to share the property with him, please ensure that your names are clearly written as the parties. Example, Patricia, Dominic, and Friday, Samuel. I don't know if that works for somebody. Patricia, Dominic, and Friday, Samuel. So in the event of a breakup, the property can be sold and the proceeds shared between you both. But why take this risk in the first place? I've said my bit. The decision is yours. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's conversation. I hope you are more informed. Till we come your way again next week, same time, same station, remember that you, yes, you are worthy by design. I'm Ibera Chims. See you next time.